Today I'm going to explain to you the ATP-PCR system and how this aids in muscle contraction and how it basically just resynthesizes ATP. And so if you think about when you're exercising, the first 10 seconds of exercise, just that initial that initial sprint, that's going to be when your ATP-PCR system is active, and all those muscle contractions are from that resynthesis of ATP. And so if you look at this little visual, and we break this system down, we have two molecules, which is creatine phosphate and then adenosine diphosphate, and then we have two enzymes which help in these processes, which are creatine kinase and ATP synthase. And then if we look at this equation, this is basically what it does as a whole, but I'm going to break it down. So the first thing we have is the PCR, which is creatine phosphate, and that gets broken down through this enzyme of creatine kinase. And so it breaks this right here, so there's a free phosphate and a free creatine. This phosphate is then going to come onto the adenosine diphosphate, and then it's going to become ATP, but it can't be done until we use this enzyme of ATP synthase to make that ATP. So if we look at this equation again, we have this PCR, which then is broken, and that free phosphate attaches to the ADP, and then through the ATP synthase, it becomes the ATP. So we are essentially having two enzymes that aid in the resynthesis of ATP, and then there's a free creatine. And so basically you really need this ATP to contract your muscles, because in the sliding filament theory, it's very important that you have ATP to move that myosin head so that you can actually contract your muscles.